following on from our last video where I feel that the female reviewers have more bubbliness in their personality. They have their catchphrases, so I'm going to create my own. We used to have our previous catchphrase, but I think our new one is going to be simply, "Hey, winners." Today we're doing a video where we talk about my current favorite fragrances in my collection. I did a previous video that were the 5 for life. To make this video interesting, I will not include any of those. These are 8 fragrances that I've been wearing a lot lately because I love them so much. These will be in order, going from 8 to 1, 1 being the best. Number 8 is Mugler's Cologne Come Together. A phenomenal soapy fragrance. If you like the notes of neroli, which is one of the easiest, most beautiful, natural smelling ingredients in perfumery, try this out. Neroli is a top note, it doesn't last a long time. This fragrance does not last a long time. However, I think it's just a beautiful, neroli, soapy, musky fragrance that's blended so nicely by Alberto Morillas. The very enjoyable thing about this fragrance is that it can never annoy you. It's such an easy, dumb reach for things like going to the gym or just going for casual errands. And it'll always uplift you for both men and women, which is really impressive for a creation like this. Staying on the theme of soapy fragrances, we're going with Zaharov's signature Pour Homme. This fragrance surprised me how soapy it was. I've had a previous sample of this. I expected this to be a lot more smoky, Middle Eastern. It has notes like incense and oud in here. It is a soapy oud fragrance, making this really unique. I respect this brand so much for how it is affordable, especially if you're in North America, but still very creative. This takes an ingredient like oud and doesn't make it boring by adding rose in there like many other brands do. It adds lavender instead, creating this really interesting, unique masculine signature. If you want a soapy oud fragrance with a hint of smokiness with the incense, this is a fragrance to definitely try out. I've tried the Siren by Zaharov and then this as well, and I think they're both phenomenal. I want to try more fragrances from the brand. If you're from the UK, go to Luxe Parfum, made by Chris and Fragmental. And this fragrance lasts a long time, all day, over 8 hours, but it doesn't project that much. I was a little bit disappointed by how soft the projection is. However, I still think it is, as the name suggests, a fantastic signature. And do not worry, the oud I think is very minimal. I don't think it has a huge amount of oud in here. It's smooth, very easy to wear. I think this is a nice, elegant man's signature fragrance. This is the kind of style I'd see someone wearing with this. Dior Homme Sport 2021. I've talked about this fragrance many times. I reach for it often. I always describe it as a sweet orange mixed with earth and wood. A new modern take on a masculine fragrance and lasts over 8 hours. Impressive for a summertime fragrance. I think they've brought back Dior Homme Sport really well. 2017 was lackluster in my opinion. This is a really good release. I definitely recommend you try it. This is the kind of style I would see someone wearing with Dior Homme Sport 2021. Number 5 is Dior's Ombre Nuit. A really fantastic and sexy signature that is unisex. In my opinion, one of Dior's private line's best fragrances. It sort of goes head to head with Tuxedo in my opinion. It has a lot of similarities. They're definitely not clones, but the DNA is going in the same direction. It's an ambery rose fragrance with an added spice in here to balance things out. It's got a perfect balance between fresh and warmth. I think this is just beautifully, beautifully blended. If you really want to try to wear rose as a man, this is, I would say, relatively safe. It lasts 8 hours. It's masterful perfumery. Definitely try out Ombre Nuit if you want to introduce yourself to the Dior private line. Number 4 is Aaron Terence Hughes Tobacco. This has been renamed. It used to be called Tobacco, Oud and Vanilla, which pretty much says it all for this fragrance. It's such a phenomenal fragrance. If it wasn't so hot right now, this would probably be higher up in this list. It is probably one of the most perfect wintertime fragrances you can wear. It's like taking Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille and putting it on crack and going extra beast mode with it. It smells like a super realistic cigar with the most beautiful vanilla and oud combination you'll smell. It smells a bit spicy, edible, super sexy. It lasts maybe 24 hours on your skin. It is phenomenal stuff. This will just pierce through the coal. This stuff is beast mode. I definitely recommend you check this out in Aaron Terence Hughes fragrances. I did get this bottle for free for transparency's sake, but I don't like all the fragrances I got from Aaron. Some of them I definitely don't like. This is easily one of his best. Number 3, I've been wanting to get this for a long time in the collection. It is Dior's Fahrenheit. It's an iconic fragrance. If you smell this, you will probably recognize it from somebody who's worn it, since this has been out since the 80s. It's a classic. Yes, people say the opening of this fragrance smells like petrol. I think it's been reformulated. It's not too strong in my opinion. I think the opening is pleasant. It is a violet leaf fragrance that gives it that green sharpness that smells like petrol. And then it's got leather as well. So it's predominantly those two ingredients with some spiciness, some citruses to balance it all out. I think, again, this is just masterful perfumery. This is so sexy. The beautiful thing about Fahrenheit is I feel that a cool guy should wear this. I think cool in two different ways. The guy who wears a suit and is very well put together, and as well as the guy who wears a leather jacket and wants to look and feel like a bad boy, like a biker could also wear this, which makes this really impressive in perfumery. And the fact that it still stood the test of time, it still lasts a good amount of time even in this modern formulation, over 8 hours, and I think it's still super sexy. Number 2 is my sample of Roger Dove's Burlington, which is a £300 fragrance that I think actually eventually I will save up and get. I think most of Roger's creations are overpriced and overrated actually. However, I smelled this on a friend when I was visiting him the other week, and I had to know what he was wearing. It smells like a summer fragrance, but it's extremely strong. This is a 12 hours loud projection spring and summer fragrance I think is fit for a king. This is actually a truly impressive fragrance from Roger. I think this is just, yeah, really, really well blended. It's got this beautiful, sweet, warm orange, which is impressive to put in a summer fragrance, going sweet, with some beautiful spiciness in here, and slight animalic and metallic notes. It sounds challenging, a little bit complex, and I will say that is right. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I think you need to be a little bit more mature to wear a fragrance like this. This is the style I recommend for Burlington 1819. However, as I said, if you like this, which I think most people will, if you can rock this, this is a summer and springtime fragrance that is truly fit for a king. And number 1 is Thamine's Carved Oud. I'll put it right out there. This is an Oudwood clone by Tom Ford. Now, we know Tom Ford in this modern formulation is a little bit rubbish. It's been gutted. It doesn't smell as nice. It doesn't last as long. However, I think Carved Oud not only matches the old formulation of Oudwood, one of the most popular fragrances created, I actually think it's even better, and it's a similar price. So this completely blew me away. I already loved Oudwood. I'm not sure if Oudwood would have been a for life fragrance. However, Carved Oud has just made it more smooth. I think it's actually added real oud, not a huge amount, but I think it's actually in there. And it just smells so much more dense, rich, a king's signature fragrance in my opinion. It literally does take that Oudwood sharpness, smooths it out a bit, makes it so sweet, musky. The vanilla's there as well, making this really sexy story with the fragrance. It's transformative perfumery, lasts over 8 hours with a moderate projection. It just smells so sexy. I think it's like, I'm not sure if everyone respects a clone fragrance. However, if you smell this, you will say that this is okay. I think they've blown Oudwood out of the water actually, and with how Tom Ford reformulated that fragrance, you sort of respect someone who can come along and resurrect it to something that's better than its old glory days. Definitely, if you want to try out the House of Thamine, I haven't tried out any of the other fragrances, but I can definitely vouch for Carved Oud. This is a sexy man's signature fragrance. Thank you for watching, guys. I may end up doing these videos periodically to update you as to what are the current favorites as time goes on. Let me know, guys, in the comments down below, what are some of your favorite fragrances in your collection currently, recently. As I said previously, I have a video of the 5 fragrances I would keep for life. I recommend you watch that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.